It's not going to happen, people. It's not going to happen. See, because government has never done anything right. And the only way we're going to make politicians walk by that Constitution, you got to control the purse strings. That's exactly right. We have to change our strategy. We have got to have a plan of action. And all these programs that do not work, let's integrate them. Government workers will sit there on deadhead jobs. We train these people to look for fraud and put them in the areas where they need to be placed, and let's stop this fraud. And one thing we have to do, and I can tell you, Senator Milton is not going to do it. They're not going to have the courage to do it. We have got to change the law on entitlements. We have got to change the law on entitlements. For example, one of the laws we need to change is this. You work hard all your life. I want to see middle-class family in my Freedom Economic Act. I want to see middle-class families be able also to pass their wealth to their children and grandchildren. Why has it not been addressed that if you, and 40% of us will do it, we will have to use some form of long-term care? Why do you have to go into a nursing home? You have to sell everything you have or divorce your wife who you have promised. I have promised to live with this woman for the rest of my life. And we've promised to look after each other. It is not an American value. It's not a family value when we have to sell what we have worked for all our life or divorce each other if I go into a nursing home. That is not right, and we're going to change that. Yes. It's time to change that. And none of them have addressed that issue. If some of you have parents who have went through that, it is not good. Why do they have to give up everything they've worked for? When yet in this country, people who have not worked, they can receive that same nursing home care paid for by your tax dollars, even though you have contributed in the system, and they are not losing one thing but using your funds. That's why we're going broke. And let me tell you something. I do not care whether you have gotten old, if you were lazy when you was young, whether you're just old and lazy. There's no difference. Why should they benefit from your tax dollars? You know why they don't want to stand up and address these issues? Because they realize it takes courage to do this. We cannot continue business as usual in Washington. And I'm watching the time here, and but those are some issues I want to talk about, and some other issues I'd like to talk about. I want to take questions from you all on this.
I have a question for you, and you just mentioned controlling the purse strings. And it's like a three-part question. Are you familiar with the fair tax proposal?
Yes.
Do you have a position on it? And do you have a position on the balanced budget amendment?
Yeah, let me tell you about the fair tax. I have looked into the fair tax. It's something that's been around for years, and it's been a minute, so I understand about the 10%. But my problem with the fair tax is this. We cannot implement it with our financial house in disarray as it is. If we have to set our house in order first, in order for us to bring in a new tax system, because the question has got to be asked, and this is why I say that cuss is so important. If you implement a fair tax system, how are we going to make sure that we are, since we're already so much in debt, how do we make sure that this brings in enough money to take care of the debts that we have? My approach to the fair tax is this. Let's set our financial house in order first, and let's show some restraint and get the budget under control, and let's start balancing that budget. And what I mean by balancing the budget, not creating a bigger budget and just raise more taxes to balance it. That's my problem with the budget, and even in Louisiana. What I want to see is government be made smaller. I want to see us spending less money. Because the reason we have a deficit is because we have such a big budget. And yes, I do believe that if you, the concept, okay, if you lower taxes, people are going to spend more money into the economy. Well, you know what? But we've tried that. Build the economy, and let's keep building, and more money will come. Under George Bush, for example, 8 years, We only created 3 million jobs. That was a merely 338,000 jobs per year. That was only 7,500 jobs per state. We lost that many jobs. Until you build a good economy that creates jobs, a strong economy, and let's take money and put back in a surplus and keep that money there in a rainy day fund for America, yes, then you can implement that fair tax. But you got your financial house in order. I'm all for it, but we have to set our financial house in order first. And I really think that's a conservative approach to take rather than just making a 360 degree. Because I'm afraid that we may start out with a good idea, but politicians will take that and then we will end up with double taxation because someone is going to say, oh, well, we're going to have a large deficit because we don't know how much money is going to actually come in from the fair tax.
What about the balanced budget amendment?
Yes, I'm for it. But like I said, I want to let's get the budget smaller. Let's cut some of this entitlement. Because even with a balanced budget amendment now, all the federal government is going to do, if they come $200 billion short, even, you know politicians just like I do, they're going to put a loophole in there. Well, just like they're doing now, they can keep raising the limit, and that's what they do. And then they'll say, oh, we balanced the budget. So what I'm saying is let's do it the right way first. Let's get the government under control, get our spending under control, downsize government, get rid of some of these departments. Let's get rid of that Marshall Ave program that I don't know who was thinking about that. Because I understand the fact that if you want to keep terrorists off the plane, you don't let them get on in the first place. And so that don't work, and that's costing millions. So we have a lot of cutting to do. And let's get the fat off the hog first, and then when we control that, yes, I will fight for a fair tax amendment, but I do not, it's like this Obama with the cap and trade now. We can't have, and he wants the cap and trade while we're in the worst economy we've ever been in. And that's what I'm scared of if we do it too fast. I think if we take a very conservative approach first and show that we can discipline ourselves and do the right thing first, then yes, and we have money put back, a surplus, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be tough. I would love to see a fair tax passed. Because that is a reward for people to work even harder and not for the government to punish you because you work hard and you're successful. Anything? Did I fully answer your question?
Yes, you did well.
Okay.
I would urge you to, there's a particular book on the fair tax. Study it a little more because I think it's the answer to turning that around.
Okay, well, I mean,
we can't work that out here. We don't have enough time.
No, we don't have enough time. But I tell you what I will do, and I will get it, because my wife can tell you, I love putting people around me that know more than I do, and I love to sit and listen to them because my campaign, I have wonderful volunteers, and we have what you call sessions, and someone got something to throw at me, because I think that is very important. And I would love to get people around and do about that. But that's my only problem. And I'm going on history. And I don't trust people in Washington.